campers. My name is Amy. I'm a child life specialist here at Cook Children's. Welcome to Did You Know, our weekly series about where we're learning more about our body and how it works. This week, we're learning about our heart. Did you know that our body circulates our blood about 1,000 times a day, which is like 42 times an hour? Who knew? I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, who's going to help us learn more.
Hi, campers. It's Kathy. I usually go to Camp Moss, and I'm here to talk to you today about your heart. We're going to talk about the anatomy of a normal heart, what it does for you and your body. We'll talk about how the normal heart sends blood through your heart, as well as how sometimes the heart doesn't form normally. Your heart is your body's pump. It's like a 2-story duplex. It has 2 rooms up top and 2 rooms down bottom. It pumps blood throughout your body. It sends blood through arteries to all of your organs. Sends it to your brain, to your kidneys, to your stomach, to your arms and your legs, and all the way to the tips of your fingers and to the tips of your toes. It has oxygen, sugar or glucose, electrolytes like potassium and sodium, calcium, and all the nutrients that you get in things like vegetables, fruits, meats, and vitamins. Your heart pumps all of this to your organs and then brings the waste like carbon dioxide back to your heart, which then pumps it to your lungs to make exchanges for carbon dioxide and get new oxygen. You can hear your heart with a stethoscope. Sometimes you can hear it with your ears. You can hear because the valves are closing. They're like little doors, and they prevent blood from backing up, just like if your toilet backs up. Some things that can happen when your heart is forming is that there's areas that are stenotic or have stenosis, which is like a narrowing. It's like putting a rubber band on something. When this happens, it's hard for blood to get where it's supposed to go. And if it can't get oxygen and nutrients like sugar and calcium to the rest of your body, that body part doesn't work very well. So if you don't have good blood flow to your arms and legs and your muscles, they start to get weak and they start to get smaller and smaller. When you don't have good blood flow to your brain, you might get dizzy, you might pass out, you might not be able to think very clearly. If you can't get good blood flow to your stomach, you might not be able to digest your food. So sometimes there's holes in different areas of the heart. So it might be in the top chamber, it might be in the bottom chamber, and because of these things, the other parts of the heart don't develop right. You might hear somebody describe your heart with a bunch of letters, like they may say ASD, or VSD, or HLHS. These are ways to tell someone a lot about your heart, even with just little letters. It's just shorter. So if somebody says ASD, that's an atrial septal defect, so it's a hole between these 2 chambers up top. Or VSD is a hole between the bottom 2 chambers. And then there's sometimes when a heart may not develop a whole ventricle. So you may wind up with just a 2-chambered heart or a single ventricle. So when one part doesn't develop on that side, the other parts don't develop on that side. So maybe something didn't develop on the right side, so you have hypoplastic right heart. You may hear hypoplastic left heart or hypoplastic right heart syndrome. That's just describing a bunch of different defects that make you have one working ventricle. Sometimes there's wrong with the electricity in your heart. There's a little node called an SA node, sinoatrial node, and it's like the kickstart to your heart, and it sends an electrical impulse that makes your heart beat. And it sends it to different parts in your heart so that this tells this part to beat and this tells this part to beat. Sometimes that doesn't develop normally, and you have to have what's called a pacemaker, and that kind of kickstarts your heart. So I think my friend Amy has some questions for us.
How big is our heart?
Well, Amy, that's a good question. So typically you say that your heart is about the size of your fist. So my heart would be about this size. So this would probably be about the same as what my heart would be. But if your heart's not working very well, it tends to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So sometimes you have an enlarged heart. But just Typically, it's the size of your fist.
What kind of doctor do you see that helps to take care of the heart?
You would go to a cardiologist. A cardiologist can help describe what kind of problems you're having with your heart. And then if you have to have surgery, you would go to a cardiac surgeon or a cardiovascular surgeon.
How can we help to keep our heart healthy?
Remember when I talked about those vegetables and fruits? That's one thing you can do is eat healthy. Eating healthy helps you have a healthy heart. Another thing you can do for your heart is to have good exercise. Exercise makes that heart muscle work and get stronger and stronger.
Thank you, Kathy, for joining us today. We learned a lot.
All right, campers, I'll see you later. I hope you have a great summer and have fun at Happy Campers at Home.